So you make a sale. Simple enough, right? But where do you actually pay the VAT? It sounds like a basic question, but believe me, getting it wrong can be a really costly mistake for any business. In this explainer, we're going to break down all the rules so you know exactly where your tax is due every single time.
Okay, let's just dive right in with a puzzle. Imagine you're a consultant based in Riyadh, but your client is all the way over in Dubai. Or maybe you sell a car that's sitting in a showroom. Or what if you give a free gift to a business partner? For each of those, where is the tax actually due? Don't worry, by the time we're done here, the answer to all of these is going to be crystal clear.
So, here's our game plan. First up, we'll lay down the foundation, the huge difference between goods and services. Then, we'll get to the big split, selling to a business versus selling to a regular consumer. After that, we'll dig into some special rules for specific industries, and we'll wrap it all up with a really important detail, the free gift rule.
Let's start at square one, the absolute basics. Every single question about VAT place of supply starts right here. Are you selling a physical good or are you providing a service? Because the answer changes everything.
And here they are, the two core principles. For goods, it's pretty straightforward. The tax follows the physical item. If you sell a car, the VAT is due wherever that car is physically sitting when you sell it. Simple. But for services, the default rule is totally different. It's all about the supplier's home base. The tax is normally due where you are located.
So to make that real, if you sell a car that's physically parked in Jeddah, Saudi VAT applies. Easy. And if you're that consultant in Riyadh advising a client in Dubai, the default rule says Saudi VAT applies because Riyadh is your base of operations. But that default rule, it's about to get a little more complicated.
Right, because for services, that rule we just talked about has one massive exception. The place of supply can completely flip, and it all depends on one simple thing. Who is your customer?
And here is that split. If you're selling a service to another business, that's B2B, the place of supply literally flips. The tax is now due in the buyer's country. But if you're selling to an individual consumer, that's B2C, the rule stays nice and simple. The tax is due in the seller's country.
Let's see this in action, because this is where it clicks. A software company in Riyadh sells to a business in Bahrain. Since that's B2B, the place of VAT jumps over to the customer's location, Bahrain. But now, check out the second one. A gym in Riyadh sells a membership to somebody who lives there. That's B2C, so the place of VAT stays right where the seller is, Saudi Arabia. See the difference?
Okay, so we've got a rule for goods, and we've got rules for B2B and B2C services. But, you know, some industries just don't fit neatly into those boxes. For these guys, there's a set of special overriding rules.
For anything to do with real estate, selling property, managing it, even designing it, the rule is incredibly simple. You can forget B2B or B2C. The only thing that matters is the physical location of the property itself. That's it.
And it's the exact same simple logic for events. If you're organizing a conference, a wedding, any kind of get-together, the VAT is due in the country where that event is actually happening.
And the pattern just continues for things like arts, culture, and entertainment. A concert, a play, a museum exhibit, the tax follows the performance. The place of supply is wherever that activity is being performed.
So the crucial thing to get here is that these location-based rules trump everything else. You're selling land that's located in France, it's French VAT. You're hosting a huge conference in Kuwait, it's going to be Kuwaiti VAT. And a massive concert in Dubai, you guessed it, Dubai VAT.
All right, for our last section, let's zoom in on a very specific situation. What happens when you give something away for free for business reasons? I mean, is there even a tax consideration? Well, the answer is yes, absolutely.
The official name for these is nominal supplies. This covers stuff like free samples you might hand out at a trade show, or maybe a nice gift you give to a valued client. Now, even though no money is actually changing hands, they're still considered a supply in the eyes of VAT law.
Now, the key number you have to remember here is 200 Saudi riyals. Think of it as the magic number. It's the VAT-free limit for gifts per person per year. As long as your gift is worth less than this, you're in the clear.
So the process is a really simple two-step check. First, you ask yourself, is this gift worth more than 200 riyals? If the answer is no, you're done. But if the answer is yes, then VAT is due. And here's the really important part. It's due on the entire value of the gift, not just on the amount over 200. Let's say, for example, you give a client a bottle of perfume that's worth 300 riyals. Since that's over the 200 Riyal threshold, you have to account for VAT on the full 300 Riyal value, just as if you had sold it to them.
And one last thing to know, there's a bigger annual limit. If your whole business gives away more than 50,000 Riyals worth of these kinds of gifts and staff benefits in 1 year, you'll need to account for VAT on anything that goes over that limit.
So let's just do a super quick recap. For goods, it's all about where the item is. Location, location, location. For services, you gotta stop and ask, am I selling to a business or to a consumer? For those special cases like real estate and events, the location of the thing or the activity is the only rule that matters. And for those business gifts, just keep that 200 Riyal number in your head.
Look, the rules make a lot of sense once you break them down, but in the middle of a busy business day, it is so easy to get one wrong. So the question I'll leave you with is this. When you think about all the sales and services and deals your business handles, are you absolutely 100% certain you're getting the place of supply right every single time?